Hey, Fitzy here, back at it again with another one. I figured I'd get started on some more rust repair. Yeah, lots of rust repair in this one here. This tailgate was a lot rougher than I thought it was. And I had to put half a dozen or more patches in it and well up a dozen or more holes in it. But it looks the part. It was all done on a budget. It was done simple. I've done an old technique, just the lap patch, to do all the repairs on it. We're going to go over it all here now. So, stick around. Oh, I hope you got your bar. Well, I'm back. It's been a few weeks since you've seen any videos on the VIC100. I took a bit of time off, relaxed a bit, and went to the Atlantic Nationals in Moncton, New Brunswick. It was a fantastic show. I had a real good time. It was great to just sit down and relax because I was been working pretty hard on this old truck and getting burnt out on it really. And it's time now to get back at it. But I haven't made no videos in a couple of weeks, but I did make one video over on my other channel talking about the actual trip we went on. This link here, well, this is the video, the link is in the description, of the trip that we went on. I met a lot of you guys up there. I'm totally amazed, and gals, by the way. I'm totally amazed at how many people know of me. I could say as easy as that. I'm a bit humble when it comes to that. I don't look at you as some sort of, as what people say, fans or that type of thing. That's not me. I look at you as just car people that just enjoy it. I'm no different than you guys. I work in a small garage like many of you, and it's just that I put my stuff on YouTube, and it helps people. So, but I greatly appreciate that. I met a number of you guys. I had wonderful conversations, see some of your projects, had fairly long conversations with a lot of you. And some of you guys were very humble in the way you looked at me and thought I was some sort of, I don't know, above and beyond type person. I don't know, but that's not me. That kind of took me back. And but you know, I can understand it when you watch someone for a period of time and then you meet them. You know, I suppose that comes with the territory. But that's it for that. You know, the trip was good. We went in Wendy's Mustang. It was a 2004 Mustang. It taught me a lot about this truck because the running gear in that truck, in that Mustang, is the same as what's in this here, and I was very pleased. We went over 3,000 kilometers and never had a hitch. Fuel economy in it is amazing. I can't believe the fuel economy on them 4.6 engines, which is the whole purpose of this truck. Is like I always wanted to build something that you can travel in and it's decent on gas, right? Of all the vehicles we went with, I was getting the best fuel mileage. I was getting 8 liters per 100 at one point, and then I think when I hit the oil and was rushing them home, went up to about 11 liters per 100. Now you can figure that out. Up here in Canada, everybody does it that way. Miles per gallon, it got to be worked out some other way. So I'll have to look into that and see exactly what it was. But everything up here is measured in liters, so it's just as easy to measure, you know, how many kilometers you went, how many liters you burnt, and that was it. So 8 liters per 100 is really good for a V8 car, I can guarantee that. But yeah, so that engine and that is pretty well the same as what's in the truck. Same transmission. I think it's the same gear set that's in the back of this here. It's the same rear end, but this here is like, it's an 8.8, but this one here has got the bigger one in it. So, you know, I was more than pleased with the actual outcome of it, and the air conditioning spoiled me because every other time I'd done this trip, it was wild. You know, it was usually hot, sticky and muggy, but having AC, it spoiled me. So, I'll have all that in this here, so I'm looking forward to it. The plan is, next year I want to go to Moncton in this truck. I want to finish it up. Now, the whole plan is right now is I got to finish this truck off. I'm not going piddling and poking at it. I got other work here that has to be done, but I want to get this finished first. So I'm tearing right into it. I'm going to walk you through some stuff here now that, like, I'm here now ready to do the brakes on this. I want to get that done because I want to get this up on the back blocks again, so I can get the motor and transmission put in it and get all the bottom side of it all glued up. But I think he's seen enough mechanical work for a while. The last time I was at this, I done the interior in it. I need to get back to some fabrication, so I'm going to show you what I'm going to be at here today. Now, I've talked about it numerous times, getting the box in here, getting the box in here. The problem I got with bringing the box in, it takes up too much room. I got everything brought in. I got the 4 wheels and tires that I'm putting on this. These are new wheels and tires. Well, new tires anyway. And they're on really good Project VIC rims. I got all the brake hardware, lines, some engine stuff, and more brake gear back here. I got her all set up on jack stands here now, so we can actually do all the brakes on it and get that done. Over here with the engine, I've ordered a bunch of parts for it. I had some stuff sent out and get machine work done while I was gone. Some of the parts showed up, but I'm still missing the dipstick and the tube to go behind the actual motor. I got the fitting and I got some other small bits and pieces, but I'm still waiting on some parts, so I can't touch that till that shows up. I got to clean it up and still take studs off the manifolds. I haven't touched the thing here. I come out here yesterday, today's Monday. Come out here yesterday and spent the day cleaning up her, moving stuff around. That's the reason why the truck is all up on stands and everything, ready to go. I just wanted to get at it. But the mechanical end of it, on my channel, everything's fabrication, rust repair, all that type of stuff. This here is not going to do me any good. So, and I can't get the box in right yet because I got nowhere to put it here. I want to get this here situated so I can actually get the motor and transmission in it and make some room over here. So what we're going to work on today is this tailgate. I want to get some fabrication work done. I want to play around with the welder and put some patches and everything in it. So I want to do some repairs to this tailgate. The tailgate is in not bad shape. It's got a hole here. And when I stick my finger in there, there's some debris in there. Holy bless it. So I have to cut that out, clean all the debris out. I find it extremely heavy. So there's a lot of rust on the inside of this gate. But the issue with this gate is the top side and the inside. So here's what we're up against. I have a number of these large dents in it here. Sharp dents. And the entire back side of this here is all caved in. Like that's supposed to be straight. Going along there like that. And it's just all caved in down here. Now, when it comes to gates, tailgates, everybody have the same thing with them, is trying to repair these dents. When the dent gets like this here, you can do what you like with it. It's not, you know, you're going to turn around and try to pull that out. That is stretched metal, that's stretched metal, that's stretched metal, that's stretched metal, that's stretched metal. You can't get nothing behind it to dolly it, to heat it all up, all that type of stuff. The best thing you can do there is to cut it out. I'll cut this out, this section out here. I'll dolly everything as it's supposed to be, and then I'll weld the piece back in. I might weld this back in it again, depending on how bad it is, or I might make up a new piece to go there. But it's a waste of time to try to pull a dent like this here. That's a waste of time, because that metal is stretched. The only way to place that dent is going to go is out here. You're going to pull that dent out. To shrink it, you need to get on the back side of it. You can't get at it. And every time I've gotten into these here, I've tried every different ways. You weld the piece across here, try to pull up on this here, and, you know, use ratchet straps to pull on it. Once you relieve all the tension out of this area here, this becomes a lot easier to work with. And this old section here will actually come back into shape a lot of times with very simple hammer dolly effects, right? But you'll find it a lot easier. Like, just because there's no welding on the gate, you say, I don't want to go cutting up my gate. You'll end up making a mess of this. Like, trying to get this dent out here, trying to pull this up here. This here will actually go like this by the time you get it all out. When you cut it in relief, the metal got somewhere to go. So then when you start hammering dolly in this here, this will actually want to flatten out. And I'll show you later about all that there when turns around and gets it all dollied up. But the first thing I got to do now is I got to strip the gate down. I want to take the latch and everything out of it and free it all up. And there's an abundance of rust or something down at the bottom of this here, dirt or clay or something. And I got to cut a piece out of it down there and clear it out. So I'm going to go ahead now and start stripping this down. Need a bit of rust in it. Holy blessed. Now, after cutting holes out where the rust is to, it also gives me access to actual spray some penetrating oil in there to get stuff freed up. But look over here, look. Right, and down here, this side here. So I almost had this tipped up. I'm going to tip this up now and clean this out and start stripping all the parts off it. These are going to be fun to get out because I'm going to say, oh, I'll be snapping bolts hand over fist. Hopefully, fingers crossed, all this on bolts. Have you ever seen so much rust come out inside of a panel in your life? I've taken quarter panels off cars with less rust in them. Man, oh man, oh man. That's a size 12 boot, right? Oh my. Well, I figured I was going to have all kinds of troubles getting all the bolts out. I figured I'd just go ahead and get the bolts out. And amazingly enough, these ones here, these Phillips heads, because they're a very soft head, they give me a bit of trouble, but they did unbolt. I figured I was going to have well washers and everything onto them. But I got all the bolts out. Oh, amazed with that. But you can actually see the bend in the gate now. You can see that is all right there, right? And that's really caved in there, right on this edge here. So I'm going to go ahead now, flip this over and get the latch and everything out of it. Well, I'm amazed. I even got this freed up. This here actually works now. I just sprayed some lubricant on it and it started to move. And the rods are in decent shape. Out here, this one here was seized up and I just sprayed some lubricant on it, give it a tap with a hammer and it freed up. By right, you should take all this apart, sandblast it all, put it all back together again. I'm not doing that because of what this truck is. I'm just going to turn around now, and when it's all said and done, I'm going to drown this with probably rust check or something like that, and then put it all back together again when it comes time. But for now, I got that done. I got the latches all removed. Now I can start stripping the thing down. In here, this is going to be a nightmare in here trying to strip all this here. There is dents and everything in here, and I'm not worried too much about all the dents on it, because a tailgate is a tailgate. I'll hammer them out as best I can. My biggest thing now is I want to just get all the rust and find out how bad this actually is, what's going to have to be welded up and repaired on it, inside and out. So I'm going to go ahead now and dig out the grinder and grind all this off. Probably grind it back to here, leave this alone, and just have a look at, see what we got here. Amazing enough, I saved one washer and one clip. But I just got to replace the washer and one clip on it. So I said I'm going to replace all that anyway. So I've gone around and done the hammer test. And I come to find out she's mint. Yeah. I hammered a bunch of spots that looked like they could break through with a pick hammer. And I got holes in them. I'm going to drill these out, see if I can weld them up. And go from there. Some other stuff down here, but what I'm going to do here now is just going to clean it all up with the grinder. I'm just going to clean up this bottom section here and this upper section here and see what I got.
Just by cutting it, you can see the relief and the pressure coming off it there now. Look. There's a big gap there now compared to, there's the actual cuts there, right? I'm gonna go ahead and now cut the rest of that piece out. As you can see, the entire inside the gate is all surface rust. That's it. But I got this one now. This one here had the big heavy dents in it. I got that cut out so that the any strain from them are let go. Now it's still kicked in down here and over here. And what I'm going to do now, I'll get a pry bar or something now, a bit of flat bar, and just start prying this up here to get this all back up in place again where it's supposed to be. And get the, by rights, this should come straight down here. And then it just starts to tip in as it goes along here. Same with over here. So this whole section here is down. And I'm hoping that I can actually get most of it now just by prying on it. So there is a small dent there. That's probably going to fight me right here. But I don't need to get it perfect. I just want to get it up so it's half presentable looking. So I'll go ahead now and start prying all this up. So I've been prying on it. I got this piece I found over there now. I'm going to cut it off here and just have it so I can pry up on some of these dents here. Before I get into this, someone might say, because I cut this out, if I cut the entire inner skin out, dollied it and welded it back together again. The problem with the Ford gates is the center of the gate is only single panel. Okay, this is the back of the letters. Up here, this is a double panel from here to here, and there's a double panel from here to here. But only in the middle itself, this is all a single panel, so you just can't cut the panel up. You'll end up having to cut the entire section out of it right here, and taking that piece out of it, drilling out all the spot welds here to do all that. And like, you know, if this was like a crazy restoration, maybe, but you see the shape that this gate is in. I haven't shown you the holes that I got drilled in it so far, just a taste of it. I went around anywhere I thought it was weak, I went and drilled holes in them. And down there is a nightmare. But I'm just trying to get the gate to a point where I'm happy with it. And I'm going to work on it some more. I got to get some straightness out of this here. As you can see, if you look through there, how much that's off. I like to get this up here. I might drill a few holes in these here and out. There's two big dents there. And have it so I can put a bolt or something in it and pull up on it. And do it that way. They got no uni spotter. I haven't had one in years. And I don't think that you'd never get them out with a uni spotter because they're too heavy. They need a big strain put on them. You bust the actual copper thing off before you pull it off, and the easiest thing to do is drill a hole there, put a nut up through it, and have it so you can long bolt. You can bolt it onto a piece of flat bar with a hole on it, and then just pry up on it that way there. And that's what I'm going to do here now. So I'm here now. You saw me. I drilled the holes in the panel itself. I got to drill this one a little bit bigger, I think, because I had to drill this one bigger. And what I went and did is I took a 5/16 bolt and I just drilled a hole in a bit of flat bar and slid it up through and put a few tack welds on it. The reason for that, because that way I can reach in through this right here. Put the bolt up through, like so. something flat on the back side of it. I always preferred to push a dent than to pull it, because the dent was struck this way here, and then you're trying to back it up, and a lot of times it's hard to fight it. But when you're behind it and you're pushing it back, you got a tendency to have more control over it. And this is something that I found that over the years doing collision work and stuff like that, a lot of times if you can get behind a dent, it's a lot easier to work it than it is to try to work it from the outside. So I got that done. When I got done, I got this flat bar here with a bolt, a hole drilled in it. I'm going to bolt that in through there, and then I'm just going to pry up on it like this. That's all I'm going to do. I'm having problems just bending on me, but I'm starting to use what I had kicking around, so that's it. I'll go get this angle iron out to hold it. Right, I got it revamped now. Do that again. What I got this time is a piece of angle iron. Place that there, rocker. Turn around so you can see what I'm at. Four-man stent puller. I'll do this one next. I got that one up. It's a lot better now. I'll dial that up there now and work on getting this section up here. The gate has a bit of a twist on it, so what I gotta do is I gotta apply it to the 250-pound press. So I got it set up in the press here now, and I'm gonna apply 250 pounds to it. So after pulling on it, yanking on it, hammering on it, all kinds of pieces of scrap steel, after stepping on it, doing it all, and I got it now where I'm happy with it. You look across there and look down across there. That is pretty straight. Could be a bit straighter, but that's straight enough for me because of what this gate is. I wanted to get all the modifications done, the dents pulled out of it, all that done before I even started the weld patches in it, because now's the time if I got to get inside of it. I got holes in it everywhere I can actually get in through and access to. So I'm pretty well straightforward here now. I can start sizing up, start welding up and what I'm going to weld up. So on the inside I got that piece there that I got 2 holes here belong to a latching mechanism that was on it. I'm going to dolly it up a bit better than that and weld them up. These are the ones that I use to pull with. So I got to weld them up. They're nice and solid, and I split it through here to dolly this up a bit better. And I did the same thing here. I split it through here so I can dolly this up. I have 1 pull hole here. These here are rust holes. I just drill them out. This side here seems pretty good. I have what you see here, and I got this spot down here. But the lip here is bad. Right here, there's a bad spot here. The other side, it's another story. This is on the inside still. You can see, all I did is every time I saw a small hole, I drilled it, and I let the drill fall until it started to bring up and it actually had good metal to it, because it's very easy when you're drilling through a rust hole. You drill it, it'll just fall into it. When it comes to solid metal, it'll take a while for it to cut. That's all I was doing here. So like these here, if I wanted to, I could weld them up. Now up here, all this here is weak in through here. I don't know as it is, and I'm thinking I'm just going to cut this entire piece right out of here and replace that whole section there instead of trying to weld them up. On this side here, I have a few holes down through here. I think I'm going to weld them ones up. Down along there as well. Is where all that rust came from, is the back side of these panels. Now down here, this is another nightmare. Now she's over here, I got a bad spot here, and I got this spot here, which actually goes up into this here. So I got to get into that as well. I'm trying to stay away from this lip here edge, trying to figure out some way, because when it comes to filling it, when you got to fill these edges here like this here, you're going to end up having a bump. Like there's going to be a step up here, and I'm trying to avoid that. I might end up doing is like cut the fit here, and then just do a lap patch here on the end of it here. I don't know yet. I might end up doing a cutting board on this yet. I don't know. Problem with this, I can't get at the back side of it when I does the patch, so I may have to do a cut to fit on these. Right? But here in the middle, like I got one here, but it seems to be all good down along here. I just see another one right here. And let me get a drill here. Now when you see little holes like this here, and you drill them, just watch the drill the way it goes. See, it fell right on and through it all when it got going. Now that's a decent size, a solid piece of metal. I can weld that up. I did the same for all the rest of these here. Now this is just too much going on over here. I like to make it small. I might like, you know, come over, weld up a few here, and then cut off a piece here, and cut off a piece here, and then put a whole new section in the bottom here. It's probably best that I do that. And but before I get into that, I want to get everything else welded up first. That's the extent of what I got done here now. The gate is, this is good enough for me. I'm not going to get much better than this. To find a gate here locally is like, this is what I'll find. I prefer a gate that's rusty than the one that's dented, because when they're dented, everything is stretched. So this here is a solid gate. It's just rusty, and you know, it's only a patch here and a patch there. This vehicle, like I said, the whole truck is like it. You can see on the inside here, the rust blisters. I just seen them there then, so it's more that got to be drilled out. In here you can see I got a piece on the back side here that I got to weld up, and in along here. But that's it. It is what it is. I'll make a gate out of it. You see me working with worse. Like I said, this is not a show stomper, you know, restoration. It is what it is. I'm just saving rusty metal and making a cool little beater out of it. So I'm going to go ahead now and start welding up a few holes. I'm going to leave this alone till last. I'm going to dolly up the piece that was here and weld it back in. because I want to show you something, and that's the reason why I'm going to, like most fellas just say make a new piece, but I want to show you something when you dolly up a dented piece of metal that's been bashed up a lot. I got that there, and I'll start welding up a few other things there. Other than that, that's basically what I'm going to do. So I'll get some of this welded up here now. I'll weld up a few pinholes and try to make it smaller so there's less work on it, and we'll go from there. You can see here what I'm welding up. And this is what I'm doing. I'm actually going around and I'm welding around the actual spot. And I find it gets really hot, so you walk away from it. Once it gets it built up like this here, it's easy to weld up then. Like over here, now this one here still needs a bit of work. And you can tell when it's really thin because it won't weld up. But like you look at all these here, they're all welded up solid. And there's lots of heat in them. Inside the gate here, I'm not too concerned about it. My plan for this is going to have some sort of like plywood or something over it so we can sit on it, and like, I'm gonna have the gate open. There's a nice flat surface for probably laying drinks or something on when we're at a campsite or something, or at a car show, whatnot. I'm going to try to weld up everything from what I can visually see here. I'm going to weld up all the holes, and then when I flips the gate over, then I'll start cutting pieces out. But I got everything else done here. All the other holes are done. Up along here. It was a bit thin over here and here, but that's it. I can only save so much of this gate. I can get carried away with it and go overboard with it. This is the type of project that you're just looking to make a beater out of. And that's what I'm doing with this here. I'm going to make it look nice and pretty. In a couple of years' time, it's probably going to be breaking out in places. That's it. I'm not going to spend a lot of money on paint. That way, in a couple of years' time, I can flick it over. Anyway, I'm going to go on, finish welding all this stuff up here, and I won't bore you with no more of this, and I'll get this much of it done, so that way we can get started on the other side. So I got them all welded up. Had to use a bit of a coat of hair in there, but I got all them welded up there. All that's welded up across there. And I went in and I took the grinder, and I cleaned up, and this edge here is an actual overlap here, and there's some seam sealer in that downer right here, and I cleaned it all out. Good enough for this, right? So I'm going to skid down now, and I got the electric grinder going here, and I'm going to go around and grind the heads off of all this stuff here. You got the electric grinder for in here, and I use the air grinder out here on the flats. So I'll go ahead now and get this side here all grinded up and finished. Would you look at that? Hole be gone. All on the back here. Brand new, like it was never touched. That's absolutely mint. Rust-free panels there now. I wish. But yeah, I got all that there grinded off there now. Everything's ready and done on this side here. Now I can flip it over and face the mess on the other side. But yeah, that's the back side. I gotta clean that stuff up just to knock the heads off it all. It is what it is. Tailgate's a rough old beast. These ones here, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna just take a section now. I'm gonna weld up this section here. Finish this off here. So that's done. And then we'll go from that. instead of jumping all over it and looking at it and seeing how bad everything is, I'm going to go ahead now and just start welding up certain parts of it. And then when I'm happy with them welded up, I'll grind and finish them, and I'll move on to another section. It's a lot of holes. There's a lot of work involved in it. You can see it's like it's far from mint. But just imagine, all the tailgates are like that. If they're left out in any length of time, because there's nothing inside these tailgates. No paint, no preservative, nothing at all. Just bare metal. And if you live in a climate like I does, that's what's going to happen. So I got all that grinded up now. I went ahead, then there was a couple of small spots. There was a crack here, there was a crack here. I welded them up. I grinded off all these here. I grinded off the ones that were here. All right, they're all gone. Now I'm left with just the big stuff. I do have a couple of small dents here that I like to get out. I got to cut this section out here because there's way too many holes there to try to weld up. They're too close together, and it's just easy for me to put a strip across there. I might take this whole thing now and cut it off, like so. And take a whole piece and put it in there instead of trying to make two pieces for it. Over here, it's just going to be one piece. Going to overlap this here. Again, these are all overlap patches. I'm going to make this piece up here first, bend it over and get this nice crisp edge here. And then I'm going to just overlap a piece there. Down on the bottom here, I'm going to size up how much of this I can weld up. I'm going to try to keep the patch, like in here is a mess, but I'm going to see how close I can get to the middle, welding up a few holes, then just make the patch small as I possibly can, and only got to roll down to the bottom side of the lip. Over there is just going to be a lap patch, same as this side over here, same thing. So I'm going to go ahead now and start cutting this stuff out, figuring out what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut this one out and clean that up. And then I'm going to come over here and start welding up this side here and have an idea of how far over I can get. And then I'm just going to cut the piece out. So I'm into it now. I just went ahead and decided I'm going to cut off as much as I can because there's lots of structural strength to this gate, and by cutting it up, I'm really not removing all the strength out of it. It should be fine like it is. Some may think that I should just go ahead and cut everything out of this here and put one big piece in there. I'm not going at that. It doesn't matter what I does with this here. This is not going to be a perfect gate to start with, because as you can see, every time I cut it open, there's rust on the inside of it. That's it. What I'm going to do here now is where I got this cut open, I'm going to take a break. But what I'm going to do first, I'm going to blow all this all out, and I'm going to drown paint in here. I'm going to paint all this in here, drown a whole bunch of paint in there, just try to save it as much as I possibly can before I go well in patches and everything. This is the reason why I wanted to cut everything out of it first, to get started, so that way I can go in and get a whole bunch of paint put on stuff before I actually start welling pieces in it. So the inside got some sort of protective coating on it. So, like, you know, I can probably fool around, put rust converter on all this, but, like, the more time I spend on it, it's just as well, like, you know, if you want a rust-free gate, go buy a new one, okay? That's my advice to you, because anytime you find a factory gate from 1968, 67, 72, all them years, this is what the inside could possibly look like, okay? If it's a southern gate, it could probably still be bare metal, but I can guarantee you, unless you do something with it, it's eventually going to rust like this. This gate has been in the northern climates his whole life, and this is what happens to him. As you can see, like, this is pretty heavy rust. And all I'm doing, I'm just making this look pretty. That's it. You know, it's going to break out. It's probably going to bubble up here. It's probably going to bubble up here. You know, all these places that are solid now that I never touched, probably going to bubble up. So, Tony, put a whole piece over the bottom. It doesn't matter. Okay, because then it'll bubble up here. It is what it is. I'm just going to make a decent old gate out of it. I'll get this all cleaned up, blown off now, and get some painting everywhere. And I drowned it. I got drips and runs all over the place. I got about a can and a half gone into it. It's nothing spectacular or nothing. It's just old cheap paint that I got here. I don't even know if it's a rust paint, but it's an all-purpose metal paint, so that's all that matters to me. Like, I can only do so much with this, and you can get carried away with it. You can spend a fortune on it. You can dip it. You can do all kinds of stuff. I'm just throwing together a little beater, and I'm just trying to make it last. So I'm putting it together. I'm building it with a budget way, using cheap stuff, and that's all you can do. If you want to do a higher end job, you can. This is good enough for me because I'm the only one that got to be pleased. I'm going to let that set up there now, and I'm here thinking about it. Because this upper section right here is the spot that I'm going to be crucial wanting to have looking good going along here. I'm going to leave these to last, because that way I can get access inside here if I need to do any work. And if I need to cut more out of here, I will, just to get access to this if I ruins it too much. But I'm going to build this piece first, which is right here. Now normally you would just go bend up a new piece, but because I want to show some stuff here, I want to use this piece of metal and I'm going to weld it back in. I just want to show you what's involved with when trying to repair these dents if you left them in it. I've had to repair a few right here. I actually found a screw in this hole right here, which was interesting. It was a Robinson head screw, and it was screwed in. It was there a long time, and I think it was just the dent was there, and they put the screw in it to fill up the hole. So I banged it all out. There was a dent there, and a dent there, and because I had to back off of this, I put a flat bar in it and banged them out through here. So they're pretty good there now. I'll just weld up that hole, and that'll be best kind. But I'm going to let this set up for a little bit and let it dry, because I know if I go to try to weld anything on this now, it's going to catch fire. So what I'm probably going to end up doing here now is I'm going to start hammering dollying this here, and I'll start working on that there, and while this is drying. Look at the state of that. Look, she's mint. Good dents in it. Anyway. So I'm here now, and I got my old trusty piece of I-beam up. I'm going to use this now to flatten this out and get this all back in shape again. I'm just going to pound on it and beat all the spots out of it and flatten it all out and use all the angles on this here to get all the shapes that I'm after. And so I'm going to go ahead now and beat this all into shape again. And I'll bring you back when I got it all straightened up. We'll stick this in. So I got that all hammered back in shape again. All I used was that hammer and that piece of I-beam. I never used no fancy tools. I just hammered it around. Then I used the pick end of it and just hammered it down to get it all nice and straight. You know, you couldn't have simply made a new piece of this here, but no. I want to reuse this, and I want to show a few things. Hopefully they'll show up, because there's always an issue when you try to straighten something up like this here when it's on the vehicle. What tends to happen is that the metal has to go somewhere. And the problem being is that most times it just goes in the opposite direction when you're trying to pull dents out. But when you cut a piece like this off here and you start hammering for it and shaping like that, the metal got a tendency to move like this on you. Move away from you in all the different directions. So it got somewhere to go. It's got an edge here. It's got an edge here. It can actually move this way. It can actually move this way. And by doing so, what it ends up doing then, it makes the panel, the piece that you're repairing, bigger. And so when you go to fit this in place, it's going to be bigger than the actual opening. Now, I don't know how much bigger this one's going to be, because there were small dents. But it's a lot easier to repair these dents like this than it is to turn around and try to pull them out, especially when they're little small dents, as small as they are. You know, uni spotters are great tools. I always found they're great for doing large dents, pulling out large panels. But when you got into tight, kinked metal that's really pushed hard, most times all it did is it just pulled little tits up all over the place, and it just made a mess of everything. A lot of times, if I could cut it out and dolly it and weld it back in again, I prefer to do that. I've done it many times with a lot of projects, especially in curved panels, like for argument's sake, say right here on the roof. If this was a hard smack here in the corner, it was a hard bang here, you'd be trying to pull it out. If you just cut the piece out of the roof there, took it out, dollied it, welded it back in again, it'd be way better than just trying to pull out this corner here, because it just don't want to come. You start pulling on it and all you're left with is these little hard spots, and it's still all wavy and everything, right? The metal has nowhere to go. It's got to come in this direction, so it's got to basically go right higher. When you cut the panel out and you start hammering it, the actual dent starts to move out this way here, and it'll actually move into the metal there. So when you lace the panel back over it, you'll have to trim it to get it to fit better. But that's just one little trick I did over the years, making life a lot faster and easier by cutting dents out and hammer shaping them and then welding them back in again. So I want to clean this up now and start test fitting it back on the panel. Now here's what I've been talking about. I have the panel all lined up here now, and going in, I got a gap here and I got a gap over here as well. But now when you get down here and look at this here, looking across that, it overlaps all the way along there, and it starts to fade out when it gets over in this end here, just right there. All this is stretched metal. I got to take the zip cut wheel down, cut this here to open up that gap, because the metal's after stretching out now and it's after moving this way on me, and it had somewhere to go. So that's what it did. So I got to trim this off, or trim this off, one or the other. But I'm just going to tack weld this in place here now, where it was two, and then what I'll do is I'll start dollying it, and I'll take the zip blade and do the cutting butt into there, because I still got the other panels there that I can actually get the pieces out from behind of. So that's it. I'll go ahead now and get that tack welded in. So I got these tacked on either side here now. What I did is I lined up this crease right here. There's a dimple right here that drops down, and I lined it up here, and I lined it up here. Now up here it's sticking up a bit for the simple fact that down here now, all this is overlapping. This is what I talked about earlier. Because I worked this metal here, I stretched it, and by stretching it, now this panel is bigger than what it originally was. This is where you run into. This is the reason why I always like cutting them out. Is for the simple fact that the metal got somewhere it can go. Most times when you're trying to repair these areas when they're still on the vehicle, the metal has nowhere to go because it's all stretched. You got to try to heat it. You got to get it the back side of it, all that type of stuff. When you cut the piece out, especially in a closed panel, and then repair it and weld it back in, you'll find it a lot easier to repair. And this is what you'll see, is this section here. So I'm going to go on now and I'm going to take the zip blade like this and do the cut to fit along there, cut the butt, and get that there so I can get that welded in. I'm going to get all this section here done and finished up along here, and then I'm going to flip it over and then do the other side. So as you saw me there, I cut it across there and then start working my way across. And as it fell in, I had to cut it again because the gap was closing up. You like to have a nice little bit of a gap there. Now, you don't want it buttoned up tight because it'll actually fight itself when it goes to weld. It'll want to lift itself up or pull itself away when you're welding it. So you got to have a small bit of a gap there. But I got this all aside down here now. I'm going to finish this off here now, grind it all up, have it done. I still got to shape the other side of it. And I do have a bit of a gap out here in front that I got to deal with. I don't know how close I can get that closed up. But I got this done. I'll get this finished up now, so I haven't got to worry about it. Got it all dressed up. All brand new. Now before I move it, I think I'm going to just lay it up on a block of wood or something. I'm going to work the top edge. I'm going to work my way around. I'm very concerned about this here dipping on me in the middle or dipping this way here in the middle. That's what I'm trying to avoid, or sorry, dipping this way. This way I don't want it to do. So I'm keeping an eye on looking down at to make sure everything's all right. So I'm going to tap it here now and have a look at it and see if I can get these two sections here welded up. It's the same process as what I done on the top. It's just that I got to fit this a bit better than that. See the way that is there? And the way that is there. Get this welded up. Also, you remember I had some slots here that I turned around and cut to use the dolly things to get them a spoon and that underneath the bottom side of it to dolly it up. I have one here and one here. I turn around and I got them welded up. I'm going to dress them up first before I move on. So I got them all welded up on both sides. I got the gate flipped over. Now, as you can see here now, there's a big opening here, but the reasoning for that is because I have it high. If you look at it there, this here is up higher. That's the way I wanted it. I wanted to be able to tap this back to meet this here. If this was below this panel, it's too hard to bring it back. So I tapped all this up so it was bent back so that I could start working it back towards this panel here. I got this here dollied up to where I'm happy with it. I'm going to start bringing this in towards this here now and welding it on. Now I don't know how much of a gap or anything is there, so I'm just going to start tapping it back so that I can actually get it to sit where I want it to sit, and then I'm going to see what kind of a gap I got. So I'll get that hammered in place there now. Now what I'm doing here is I'm tapping it back, but I don't want to go too far for the simple fact what's going to end up happening, I might start lowering this section here. When I get this section lowered in this panel here, it's going to run into problems, because then I got to try to figure out how to get it back out of it. So I'm just taking my time. Now that I'm happy with this section here, I put a few tacks on it. I had to squeeze together to close up the gap a bit. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to continue on, do the same process what I just did there to close up the rest of it and get it all fitting nice. So I'll go ahead now and get that done. So I got it all hammered in and welded up. It's got a small little bit of drop in here. I'll live with it. It's right here in the middle. It's maybe 1/8 of an inch lower than out here, maybe. But I'm going to end up filling the entire top of this anyway. That's just because you're constantly hammering down on it. You're going to start pushing everything this way. But I'm content with that. And so what I'll do now is I'll just come in here and I'll get this all welded up and get this all dressed up. There you have it, all welded in, all grinded up. Is it perfect? Nope. Is it perfect for me? Yep. It do have a bit of a bow in it, and right along from here to here the panel is, because this tailgate had a fine beating on it, there was a fine bend on it, and it was struck hard right here in them few spots that I had to repair. So, but I do have it, like if you look down just now, if I can get it to do it, if you look down it right there, you can see the way it drops in a couple of spots there and through the middle. But overall, that's good enough for that, right? Have a dent here, I'm gonna live with it. Right? Across there, a little dent there, you can see that one, I'm gonna live with it. I'll end up filling this right along here, just to get a nice crisp edge on it. But it's way better than it was. But as you can see, that's, you know, if you try to repair this dent, these dents right there in place, it would not look as good as this. Now, possibly, I'd say if I was very meticulous, I probably could have cut the entire top off and put made up a whole new piece and welded it across the front there and lapped it over on the back side here and welded to give us a nice crisp edge. But because of what this truck is, I'm not concerned about it. This is a beater, and I'm just showing you techniques, simplifying things. This is like a backyard build on a budget. We're not looking for perfection. We're looking for something that'll last us a while and we can have lots of fun with, and it's not going to break the bank. That's the key to this one here. So what I'm going to do now is I have shadows everywhere. I'm going to start working on these ones here, get this patch closed up, get this patch closed up here. I'm going to decide on what metal I'm going to put in it. I might put heavy metal in it yet, because the metal on this gate is pretty heavy. So I got some 18 gauge over there. I might end up putting into that now just to give it strength and make it just a lot easier to weld up, because when it all said and done, it's I want it to last for a while anyway. So I'll start sizing this up and get a piece made for that. I throw nothing out. This is my little bin of small scraps, and I went through it and I found a piece right here. I can fit right there. I got way too much scrap down here now. This is really getting out of hand because I usually hold on to small pieces here and there that comes across. Like all this stuff, I can see it being used. It's just that I got way too much of it here. And it seems like every piece is too small. Every piece in that there is too small for that hole. So all the rest are, well, hang on now, I got that piece over there. Ooh. Oh, look at this, look. Ready made. Done. Perfect. I have a smaller piece there. I have a smaller piece there than that. I'll use that piece there. Yep, that'll be the piece I'll put right there. Got the bend in it and everything. So I got 2 pieces out of it anyway. So I'll get them cleaned up there now. So this is the patch I got made up here. It's tucking in underneath the bottom down here. I went and notched the corners so I can tuck it in underneath it, just to make it easier to weld. I didn't want to have a high weld down here in the bottom corner. But when I get it in place, I got to push down on it, and she's up to this edge here. And I'll weld it right along that edge here. Now it'll be high here and it'll be high here. But I have enough room out here and back here to do a blend on the filler. And you always got to think about that when you're actually making lap patches. Is like how is this going to blend into the rest of the panel? Am I going to have a high spot, whatnot? So I may grind a bit more of this off here and try to get a little bit lower because I'm right to the edge here. I might just leave it alone. I'm overthinking this now. And I'm just going to hold that place there now, run a bead on there, tack weld it on place, and then start running beads, get that welded in. I left the protective coating on the back side of this, so it'll help with the longevity of the patch. It'll end up burning off now when I goes to weld it, but that'll be fine. I haven't got to worry about painting the back side of that. So I'll get that welded in. I just tacked it in place, got it tacked down here, and up on the other side, I was stuck up a small bit here, so I took the grinder and grinded it off flat, so that I can actually now do a nice bead across there. I'll go ahead now and get this all welded in. Got it all welded in. Now, I have a lot of patches here. I got to put this here. You can sit down. I'm going to go over here and weld this in. I'm going to go over there and weld that up. I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to finish this off. Every time I have to do a lot of patchwork, I like to take it one patch at a time. Take this, finish it right off. I haven't got to worry about it then. I haven't got to worry about that one up there anymore. It's done. Okay? So, that's what I'm going to do here now. Is I'm going to take this here now, grind off this section here, finish it off, and then I'll go on and start building a piece for over there. And there's your little lap patch. All grind up and dressed up. Lower edge feels good. Like I was saying, it's a high spot here and a high spot here because where the metal is there. Up here feels good. Going along here. But when you look at it, you'll actually see that this comes over, steps up, goes across, steps down. I'm not worried about that. I'll blend all that out with filler. This is the way it was done many, many times. Any bodyman would look at this and say, that's a nice patch. They'd say, because they can actually work this edge here and make this edge look good and then make this bottom edge look good. Is these flat areas they're not too concerned about because, you know, you can go back from about right like this here and fill that section like that, and then you'll never see that seam is there. And that's just the way I was. This is the way things were done. Today, things are done differently. This is the way it was done back in the 70s and 80s and earlier. We never had like an abundance of aftermarket parts and patch panels and TIG welders and all the technology to be able to do stuff. And then, of course, we're dealing with a shot gate that I'm going to run. So I'm not going to get too involved in it. You could have done the cutting butt on this here. Problem with doing the cutting butt on a tailgate is there's no way to get the metal in on the back side removed from it. So you most likely would have to do a cut to fit on these here and then use little P-clamps to hold it in place, to weld it all in place. I was not going at that because of who got to be pleased with this? Me. So I'm going to go ahead now and go over here and dig out some metal, see if I can find another piece of 18 gauge long enough to fit there. I think I got a piece over against the doors, but keeps falling down on me. So it's screaming at me to turn around and say, use me. So I'll get a piece of metal, cut out for that. Lovely piece. Got her name wrote all over. I went and marked it out, measured it out. I just want to make a few cuts, so I'm going to leave the lip section here alone for now. I think I got enough room up here to get this piece and that piece over there out of this. So I'll go ahead now and cut that one out. So I got this one cut out. Got the back left alone with the coating on it. And I'm just going to do a straight overlap on that one there. I'm not going to tuck nothing in underneath anything. I'm just going to lay it in place there now because it's up far enough off the bottom that I can do it. And I'm going to lay that there and weld it in right where it's at. And I got that all tacked in place. Nothing fancy about that. It's just 18 gauge steel. It's nice and heavy. So I should be able to go in there now. And what I'll do is I'll tack in between all these here. And then I'll come back and I'll weld an inch, skip one, weld an inch, skip one, weld an inch. And that's all I'll do with that. Then I'll cool it down so I can touch it with my bare hands. And then I'll go back and I'll finish welding it all up again. Let's get this welded in. Another patch welded in. Nice and straight, nice and flat. Oh, that feels good along there. Still warm. I'll cool that off now and strike it with the grinder and get that cleaned up. Over 10 years ago, I picked up a full pickup truckload. It was a Ranger pickup of panels. And what it was lockers. And this is the sections. There was a whole bunch of sections that came that were like this here. And this is the last piece I got left. 10 years I got out of them. So I managed to find enough steel. I just went ahead and started cutting patches out. I got a patch for there. I got a patch for here. And then I got two patches for over here. One there, one there. So I got all the pieces of metal cut out. What I'm going to start doing now is I'm going to take this patch here. I'm going to set it all up. I'm going to roll the edge onto the small bit. Get this welded in. Get it grinded finished. And then I'll do the same thing here. And then I'll move on to here. So let's get started. I'm going to get this patch done. Patch number 1 done. Time to move on to this one. And that one is done. Now this one here, it's a bit low in through here. It's got a tendency to do this type of thing going on here. And then it goes up to its regular width. It was tricky rolling this 18 gauge. I cut the piece too small. All I did is I rolled it over there on my pipe anvil. And as you can see, the garage is a mess and it's tricky to get to that. But I managed to get it rolled enough that I can actually get it in place. But, and it, you know, it's not bad. I'm going to have to fill, this entire bottom's going to have to be filled. I know that for a fact. But this here comes across here, then it steps up, and then it does this. And then it drops off again when it gets to here. I don't mind telling people, like, I can tell you that's perfect. You can hardly tell the difference there, but you can see the shadow comes over, and then it falls down, and it goes back up again. That's minor. That's minor. It's nice and solid. That's all I was after. And I was trying to get this to crown this way here when I was putting it installed. But when I pushed down on it, it pushed the whole panel down here. When I was putting up this top section here, and I welded the top, because I did the top section first and welded that and dressed it, and then I come down here and then I done the bottom side here. But by pushing down on this here is what pushed this down. But that's it. You live, you learn. But that patch is good enough for me. I got a couple of more here to finish off now. I got to make up a little one here, which is this. Cut that to fit there, and then I got to put a regular patch over the top of that there. Now on this one, we have 2 spots that we got to actually weld up. Now this was the piece. I went and trimmed it all up. I rounded out my edge a little small bit, and then I just started trimming it to fit. I had to cut this on a bit of an angle. It's not quite 45 degrees for it to fit nice. And what I did is I cut the top off it here, and I cut the top off it here. And the reason why I did that, because I wanted to have this a flush fit up here in the top corner, and have this edge here and meet this edge here, and have it meet nice. So I'm going to have it so it just butts against that there. I'm not going to weld that there. I'm going to weld it along here, weld it up along here, and down through here. And that'll be that piece there. But as you can see, all it is, I trimmed it back. Nothing fancy there. I'm going to go ahead now and get that one welded in. One thing about welding in thin sheet metal, or rusty sheet metal in this case here, is every now and again you're going to come across this here. I was welding this up here, and this after happened a couple of times on this. I just never covered it, but I think I should cover it. Every now and again you'll fit up a patch, and you'll get it fitting where you want it to, and everything seems good, and you start welding it. Then you start blowing holes in your metal. Like right off the bat you said, well, I should have cut more of it out. But sometimes you're in a predicament, you got this piece already done and made, you just want to keep going. As you can see here, I ran into a spot here where it was thin and I just started blowing holes in it. I chased it. And what I got done here now is I actually got around the edge of it. All I concentrated on was welding around it to try to give some bite to the actual patch. So I got something there to weld to. I don't continuously weld it. I'll tack weld it, and then I'll go away from it. Because once this starts getting hot, it's almost impossible to try to keep welding it. It'll just keep falling away from me. It'll just keep burning away, burning away, burning away. You gotta let it cool off and then come back and weld it. So I done this here and I went back over here and welded some more and then come back and then finished it off. So now I got it like this here. Then I went back here and I welded across the bottom here and got it done. Now everything else is done and all I got left now is just to weld up the center here. And now that I got lots of meat around the edge of it here, I should be good. So this has happened number of times on this rusty old metal. I just never ever covered it. I just kept going with what I was doing. Like every time you see my patches, you just see a nice little patch done. But I do run into this problem. So if you run into this problem, know fully well that I've run into it too. As you can see, I ended up falling into it some more in a couple other spots. I just had to keep going. This is what it looks like. I'll grind all that off. You'll never notice it. This is what a lot of this stuff is down here. When you see this stuff on the inside, I got it all painted. A lot of that was just holes, and I just start welding it up. And there's a lot of meat on the inside. There's a lot of meat on the inside of that as well. So I'll get this all cleaned up here now. So we're on to the last piece now. I got this all grinded up. As you can see over here. It's like nothing ever happened. Like I could have turned around and said nothing, said that was mint. But I did run into that a number of times. I've run into it down here on the bottom side of this one. And I run into it over here, down here in the lower section on this one here. And, you know, spots where you burn through and it's thin there. And by rights, the metal should be replaced. But I just went around till I found sensible metal and welded to it. And then just started filling it in with weld. It's not the proper way to do it, but it's the way you do it when you're on a budget. And you're just trying to make do with a panel that you got to work with. So now I got this last piece ready to go here. I got this to fit in here now, right nice. It's just going to be another overlap patch. The ends of it is rolled a bit. All I did is I used my T-dolly. Laid that over the edge of it like that there and dollied it over. And got that to fit in place there right nice. So I'm going to go ahead now and get that one, the last piece, welded in. And there you have the final piece. Now, that there, what you saw there that time, that took me 13 minutes to do. That's actually lay it in place, tack weld it in, stitch it around, cool it off, weld it around, cool it off, grind it all up, dress it, and that's what you're left with. But yeah, like, it is a higher patch. Like, these are higher patches than, you know, than what you normally do. But the time that it takes for me to repair a gate like this here, like to try to do the cut and butt on stuff like this here, because you saw me over here, I was having troubles. I actually start blowing holes up. This entire corner is really weak over here. But it's solid there now, to the whole point that if it wasn't, I'd be still blowing holes in it. That's the one thing about it. I tries to keep my welder settings on up higher so that it is a hotter weld, and if it's too hot, if the metal's too thin, the heat will actually melt it away to nothing. So yeah, I just kept welding it until, like, every now and again I'll come across a spot where I start welding it and it'll just fall away to nothing, and I just got to stop and cut it all out and put a whole new piece in there. But that there, I never had no issues with it. But yeah, that's that here now. The tailgate is done. I got it all patched up. I'm going to, basically, this will be filled right along here, one end to the other. This will be all filled in here. Same with the top side there. That'll be all filled there. So, you know, the gate was what it was. I got it for little or nothing, and it's an error. Like, it's the actual 67 to 72, because I got the step in it here. And this is not something you can find easy here. Like, I lucked right into this truck. And this overlap patch thing, if you've been following along, there's overlaps right here. That's been welded up. All this entire roof here has been overlapped. All along here. The bottoms of the doors down here. That's all been overlapped. Right? So, you know, the lap patch can be worked if you're familiar with it and you've done it before. This is all the work that I did when I was in the trade. 95% of the repairs that I did early in the trade was a lap patch, much the same as this here. And all I was concerned about was how hard is it going to fill, what's going to happen when I go to fill it. Corners were always an issue. Sometimes if it was in the middle of a panel somewhere, I'll round out the corners, because the corners for some reason would stick up, and if you rounded them out, that was fine. But in the case of this here, we had a crown panel. It's a small area. It's not a large panel, so you can manipulate this whole section here with a coat filler, and it'll be perfect. The truck is what it is. I'm making a fun little truck out of it. I'm not spending no money on it. Putting a bit of time into it. Bit of old scrap steel, bit of McGuire, bit of gas. That's it. And you teach yourself new tricks. Every time I weld, I've always learning new stuff. So, but that's it for that. We got that tailgate all completed. Now, while I was at the tailgate, my buddy came in and gave me a hand. I got all the brakes done on it, on the truck, front and rear. They're all blade. Brakes are done all the way around. The was not a cheap undertaking. I got deals on it all. I bought a rotor and pad kit on Amazon, and I think it was $280. The calibers I bought locally, and I think I got the 4 of them for around $400, about $100 a piece, because I know for a fact these front ones here are not cheap. I priced them up. Like, I couldn't get none of it through Rock Auto because the shipping on it was crazy. The rotor kit, I saved $100 from buying on Amazon. Then I could get, it would have cost me $100 more to buy locally, and it would have cost me $230 more if I had to buy them on Rock Auto because of the shipping. Shipping's killing me everywhere I goes. So now that I got all the brakes done on it, and I was amazed how easy the pedal came up. Everything blade, the lines are good, everything is fine. So the brakes are done on this now. And so now what my plan is, I have the 4 tires and wheels that I'm going to put on it. These came with the first Crown Vic, and they were never used. They were put in bags, and they're mounted on wheels and all, so they're the ones I'm going to run. I got the old ones taken off of this that keep going flat on me. I got them put away. I'm going to put the 4 of these on it. I want to get it back up on blocks, because the next thing I got to do is I got to seam seal and paint the bottom of this here, down here, and I got to get this here, this transmission cross member. These are buggers. This is what's in in a cop car, Crown Vic. They got a heavier transmission cross member in them. And the problem with them is they seize in right here and right here. And this one here gave me a lot of trouble getting out. And I wants to set this up so this goes up into the car easier. And grind this down here, clean up in the car, and have it so that it fits, that I haven't got to worry about it. And I'll put some grease and everything on this section here and here, so hopefully it doesn't cause headache after that. But that's what I got to do. I got to get the bottom side of the cab all done, get this transmission cross member in before I can actually come over here and put the engine in. I got the engine there on the stand. I still got to do work on that. I haven't touched it. Transmission is there, ready to install. Come to new converters put in it. Over here I got boxes of stuff that got to be put on it. I have, before I put the motor in it, I have a crossover tube here. I have a new dipstick tube. I don't know what half of this stuff is. Oh, that's the fitting. Is it fitting? Okay, never mind. That's lock cylinders. Anyway, I got this here is power steering lines. I got 2 new power steering lines to go on it. All that got to be put on it. And I got fuel filter over there. I got new gaskets for the actual manifolds. The manifolds are right here. They've been cut. Right here. They've all been machined down. I got the 2 of them ready, so they're ready to go. I got new studs in the end of them here. They're all done. So I'm moving forward with it. Doesn't seem like I've that much done. I was on holidays for 2 weeks. But while I was on holidays, I had some stuff ordered. And I had this machine work done. And as soon as we came back, we jumped into it. But here's where we are. I'm going to turn around and get the wheels mounted on this here now. Get this back up on the blocks again, so I can move it around. You never know. I might get the box in here yet, because I think the mechanical end of this here is going to be boring. And I'm not going to get the views that I'm after. But a lot of you guys are interested in that box. So I'm going to see what I can do. I'd like to see if I can get it in. But when I get this up on stands and gets everything situated here, I'll size it all up, see if I can bring it in and work on it. Because I'd like to get that all figured out and get that mounted. I got to put a cross mount here, and I got to do some major modifications back here because this is too long. It's got to be cut off about here, but I'm going to do it a bit different. Most fellas just chops it off. But I'm going to do the rear rails a little bit different than what most people do, because I would like to have this here fit underneath the actual original cross member on the box. This section right here. Now really the box is up to here because I got to cut 4 inches off the back of it and 16 off the front of an 8-foot box. But that's where we're going to leave this one. We got the tailgate all done. That's another project completed. Another patch quilt, if you want to call it. It's solid now, just got to be filled. I'm going to leave it alone for now. And that'll be it for this. So anyway, this is where we're going to leave this one. Hope the tips were good. Until next time.